If you make me glue a single thing, I swear to God, I'll scream. This is We Have Concerns. Hi, Jeff Cannata.
Hi, Anthony Carboni.
Hello, concerned citizens. Hey, we don't often do this, Jeff. We don't often do this.
Once a week we do it.
Once a week we do the show, except for the occasional 2.5 year break.
Oh, in that sense,
we
don't often do it. Yeah, in that sense.
We don't often do it. But we don't often do what I'm about to do, which is I'm going to let you know up top of this show. Not really, but a slight content warning. We are going to be talking about things that are relevant to the current pandemic.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about things that are relevant to the current state of the world. We will not be talking in depth about the pandemic in any way, but there are a couple things that we're going to be bringing up. A couple of the stories that we're talking about this episode are related in a way that I think is interesting and kind of light and informative. But if you can't handle anything that's even tangentially related right now, we understand.
Yeah, we decided very consciously not to do a whole bunch of episodes just about COVID news. But there are some interesting stories, and here are two.
Here are two interesting stories. The first one, and this was one I found, I first found a long post on Reddit, and then I found a couple studies that were put out last week that are just asking the question, like, why bats? Why is it bats?
It always seems to be bats, doesn't it?
It always seems to be bats. Here's the thing. This outbreak was believed. We don't have any concrete news. Certainly any links that that maybe your mother or your uncle are sending you about how somebody ate a bat soup and now we're fucked.
Yeah.
You don't have to. You could maybe keep putting those to spam. You don't have to keep reading those. But there is evidence to say that this started. It is an airborne. We know that it spreads through airborne particulate, and there is a lot of evidence saying that airborne particulate perhaps came from bats. And we know that SARS perhaps came from bats. We know that a lot of recent outbreaks over the last decade come from bats.
What are the bats doing? What are the bats doing in their caves? What's happening with the bats? Are they brewing up viruses for us? What are they doing?
Well, that's what's up. It's not that somebody ate bat soup. It's that the bats eat virus soup.
Oh, no.
Yeah, and they love it. And they love it. It's delicious to bats.
Bats love viruses?
Bat love virus.
Why does bat love virus so much?
To bat taste buds? A virus. No. So there are a couple things that this it's an immunologist and a virologist that just got their PhD studying antibody responses against emerging viruses. So they have spent a lot of time thinking about bats.
These guys have become very relevant very fast.
They're sort of, if only there was like a colloquial character that we could say that these people are. They're kind of heroes, and it's like all about bats.
It's all about bats.
If there was,
it's like they've been studying in the darkness for a long time, and now they're finally emerging, and we kind of don't know their identity.
The heroes we need, but not maybe the ones we deserve.
Yeah.
Anyway. Is deserve but not need.
You know what it is?
I don't know.
What it is? They're kind of like Spider-Man because Peter Parker was a scientist.
But they don't have superpowers. So if there was a hero that was sort of like that, but didn't have superpowers,
like Iron Man. Who it is? You know who it is? Moon Knight.
It's a lot like Moon Knight. You know, Jeff, as somebody who takes a lot, and this is a digression, as somebody who takes pills to keep their brain working, and as somebody who is who grew up culturally Jewish, I can never figure out whether I really appreciate Moon Knight or I don't like Moon Knight. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
As somebody who's working through mental issues and is also Jewish, do I think Moon Knight is representation or am I annoyed? Yeah. And it really depends on the writer and the storyline, and it changes from month to month, me and Moon Knight. But hey, Feige, if you haven't found a Moon Knight yet, hit me up.
Are you ready to jump in? You'll get over your issues real quick.
I'll get over. Hey, listen, as long as I can be part of the problem. You know what I mean?
That's the Carboni motto right there. As long as I can be part of the problem.
So here's what's up. These virologists have been talking about how bats are basically a perfect storm of genetic proximity to humans.
Yeah.
They're a key. They interact with other species, tons of other species in the environment. They have immune systems that are perfect for spreading dangerous viruses. They have flight. They have social structure. There's a lot of stuff that they do that makes them sort of the perfect carrier for various viruses. The first one is, genetically speaking, 84% of our genomes are identical to bat genomes.
That is a really interesting point, because it's not something that would have immediately jumped to mind for me, but it makes a heck of a lot of sense as soon as you point it out, which is, it doesn't matter if a virus develops in a species that isn't similar enough to humans that it will affect us.
Right.
You know?
Well, they
That's
always talk about, like,
fascinating.
why can't I pass my cold on to my dog? And it's like,
Right.
well, your dog just can't. Those viruses don't work. You're not genetically similar enough. When you think about how genetically similar 84% is, 85% similar, just 1% more similar, we're talking mice and rats. And you know how many genetic and brain studies we do on mice and rats because of their similarities. We do medical trials. We do neurological trials. We do genetic trials because it's like, oh, if it works on a mouse, it's probably going to work on a human.
Right.
So not only does that explain why viruses can spread so quickly from bats, it also answers that big question that I saw on the internet, which is like, why, if this bat escaped from a lab, which, by the way, it fucking didn't. Tell your Uncle Joe, with the fucking email that he keeps sending you, with his fucking Fox and Friends shit, that this bat did not escape from a Chinese lab and start spreading 5G airwaves or whatever the fuck it is he's sending to you. All right. The reason a lab would
Uncle Joe's all over that story, by the way.
Uncle Joe is all over that shit, and still, he's the one that Charlie picked to go to the chocolate factory with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I know. You'd think that Charlie would be sick of the emails.
Yeah.
You know,
why not bring Grandpa George? Grandpa George sits, he reads the newspaper.
Yeah.
He's
not bothering anybody. He's not forwarding anything.
No, he comes to his own conclusions. He likes critical thinking, but no, fucking Grandpa Joe is the one that's got all the fun ideas. So if you're asking why these labs have bats, it's the same reason they have fucking mice or any other animal. They're doing testing on them because it could be beneficial to humans. And you could, listen.
You could get like 2 dozen bats, you know, like for the price of 2 dozen eggs. It's easy.
Yeah. How many bat you need, dude? I can get you bats.
I can get you bats right now.
Yo.
You know what? Can I ask you, do you think the 1% that between 84 and 85 that gets you from bat to mouse, do you think that 1% is wings?
That's it. It's just wings.
That's the 1% right there?
That's it.
Take away the wings.
That old, what was that old creepy, was it a Looney Tune or a Merry Melody about the bat that wishes for wings and gets like, and doesn't get angel wings, gets bat wings?
Oh, my kid has that book. I've read that book a bunch of times. There's a book version of it that my kid has. I don't think he still has it, but I read it to him a bunch of times when he was real little. It's kind of creepy, actually.
It's super creepy. Man, I love creepy old cartoons, and that one stuck in my head. But anyway, so SARS is thought to enter our cells through the ACE2 receptor, the ACE receptor, which is basically a protein that plays a role in regulating blood pressure on the outside of cells, right? And between bats and humans, the ACE2 is 80% similar, right? Okay. So to give you an idea of what that means for a virus that's crossing species barriers, right? CD4, which is the protein that HIV uses to get into T cells, is 98% similar between chimpanzees and humans, right? And we know that HIV probably started in a chimpanzee population. So HIV had an easier time jumping to us, but like SARS, even though bats aren't as similar to us as a chimpanzee is, the viral entry protein of SARS, which is, not COVID, but SARS is a much more aggressive virus.
Right.
Than
it's able
HIV.
to adapt to the differences a little bit quicker.
Yeah. So, the more similar this protein is that's on the outside of cells between species, the more likely those species can spread a virus between one another. So that kind of explains like reason number one. The other thing is like, listen to this. There are so many fucking bats, Jeff. That's
bats?
number two. There are a lot of bats. There are 1,300 bat species. Bats, are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? What total percentage of all mammals do you think could possibly be made up by bats? All mammals. Take all mammals into account.
There's no way it's over 10. There's no way it's over 10. It's got to be like 4%. That would be a huge amount to me. Seems to me that would be a huge amount.
Bats are 20 to 25% of all mammals. Bats are living, my dude. Bats are thriving.
Where are all of them? Where are they?
They're creatures of the night, Jeffrey.
But I feel like 20% of all mammals. That feels
20%
like
of all mammals, dude.
2 out of every 10.
There are bats everywhere. Look to your left. Look to your right. One of you is a fucking bat.
I knew it. I thought I was a man, but I'm some sort of bat hybrid creature. I'm like I'm not just a man. I'm also, I don't know what you'd even call it.
Like a man bat? No, man bat doesn't work. Man bat gives me like much more like sinister connotations, and we're still kind of looking for a hero.
Like a bat human. Something like that.
Like a bat human. Let me tell you something. I think I left the dollar store once with a bat human action figure when I was too young to know the difference. He was like the wrong color and shit.
That's Bat Human is the DVD your grandma accidentally bought that time. It's directed by Tom Burton, Bat Human.
If you had to pick a mammalian species at random, there's a pretty good chance it's going to be a rodent or a bat. 1 in 4.
That's crazy. I guess I'm more likely to buy that mice and rats are a huge percentage of mammals than I am bats, just because I feel like I see lots more rats and mice and shit.
Yeah.
Than you do bats. I mean, I've seen bats. I haven't not seen them, but it's
bats is nocturnal.
Yeah.
Bats is not living in your house. They don't live in your walls.
They hang out in the caves underneath your mansion.
Underneath your mansion, and like maybe if you were walking on the grounds, perhaps you may accidentally fall into a cave where you would be amongst them. Perhaps.
And if you did, chances are it would be hundreds of them that you would fall through.
Hundreds or thousands.
Yeah.
But bats also hibernate, which is why you probably don't see them a lot,
They do. Yeah.
They do. Bats hibernate.
They lay in wait for me.
Ooh. Boy, are they ever. Waiting to strike fear into the hearts of cowardly men.
So I love this idea that like the bats inherently aren't doing anything differently. There's just a shit ton of them. So they're bumping into each other all the time, passing viruses between each other.
But there's also a ton of stuff that they do every day just by being bats that is extremely beneficial to the spreading of viruses. Okay, so first of all, they're drinking the blood of other animals.
That's
where they keep the viruses.
Mm-hmm.
They're definitely kept in the blood, Jeff.
They're sort of cutting out the middleman with regard to viruses. They're not, It's not exactly like bats are running up and sneezing on you. You know what I'm saying?
No, they are definitely taking a bite out of the animal kingdom. But also they're fed on by mosquitoes. So mosquitoes are then drinking bat blood.
It's a circle of life.
That's right. He holds up Simba and he's like, all of this will make you so fucking sick. Simba, listen to me. Wash your hands. Don't go outside, Simba. It's disgusting out there. It's like, Dad, I'm supposed to. No, Simba, listen to me. I bought 13 HEPA air purifiers.
That's when he keels over, too. It's really sad. And
it's really sad.
Like, oh, I guess I'm the new king because Dad died of a virus? Oh.
But here's what was really horrible. In the first draft of The Lion King, Mufasa keels over from the virus. What does Simba learn? Simba learns that no matter how much you protect yourself, it's still going to happen. So he gets even more germophobic.
Oh, yeah, that was a really weird draft.
It was a really weird draft.
But then he meets those two adorable rodents that are like, we got worse viruses than that, buddy.
And we're fine.
Let me tell you something. Don't worry about it. Hakuna Matata.
It was a weird draft, but there are no wrong answers in brainstorming, and it's all part of the creative process.
Right,
if you have a chance to get the Blu-ray of The Lion King, you should really check it out. So they're drinking the blood of other animals. They're eating, pissing, and shitting on fruit that other animals eat. Right?
Yeah.
They are eating moth.
Same.
Same all day. Sometimes I just look my dog in the face and like pee on its food, and I'm like, remember who's in charge. They eat moths, gnats, flies, mosquitoes that have also fed on other live or dead animals. They help to pollinate, which is something that I didn't know.
I didn't know that either. How do they do that?
They spread
Same
seeds.
way bees do?
Yeah, they gets caught in the bat as they're eating and as they're perching and roosting, and they spread seeds for like 1 billion different important plants. They shit on cave floors, producing guano that's used by fungi and bacteria, right?
Man,
and then those microorganisms are eaten by fish and salamanders and frogs, and so it's just spreading more of the viral payload.
Wow.
And then bats are food for hawks, weasels, and then spiders and centipedes. And yes, humans do eat bats in some places, but fucking Grandpa Joe, just enjoy your golden ticket and don't send me another fucking email.
Yeah, we had the fizzy lifting drink. You tried the fizzy lifting drink.
Charlie, those Oompa Loompas look illegal. Charlie, I want to see the papers on those Oompa Loompas.
Oh, Grandpa, can you please for 1 second just give it a rest? Please.
Wonka,
we're invited by this nice man. Literally, everyone here is white.
I'll lick the wallpaper. Are you happy? It was delicious. Can I see the work papers for those Oompa Loompas?
Oh, man, that's all you ever talk about. Is the wall between here and Loompa Land.
Your mother is literally making some sort of stew out of laundry back in the... I never understood what she's doing. Couldn't those Oompa Loompa jobs be taken by Americans, Charlie? How many bats you got in here, Wonka?
Every bat is growing. Everything you're knowing.
So bats are getting viruses from all these different activities, and bats are extremely crucial. Like, everything I just said sounds gross, but what you should also be taking away from this is like, damn, bats is crucial to ecosystem.
Yeah, they're like tied in to all the other creatures, birds, like blue jays and robins. It's like there's like bats and humans and robins. If there was only some metaphor we could use.
Some sort of bats and humans and robins. Yeah. I don't know. I'll keep thinking.
We got to work on it.
I'll keep thinking. The other thing is the bat immune system, and this is what part of these studies came out were about last week. The bat immune system is built to not just fight, but also just harbor viruses.
Wait,
bats,
what?
Yeah. Bats are just virus incubators. They can just have viruses in their bodies.
What benefit does that provide them? Why would that be?
I don't know about evolutionary benefit, but like it definitely helps them because viruses are not harmful to them.
Yeah, I guess that's true. They're just the refrigerator that you put your virus in.
Yeah, you just put it in your virus. You put your virus in there.
In the bat, and it'll hang on to it until it poops it out somewhere, I guess.
Cells from an insect-eating brown bat can be persistently infected with MERS or
MERS,
or SARS or any number of coronaviruses. We are now thinking, based on these studies, that coronaviruses have evolved along with bats for thousands of years. Because
Go ahead. I'm being very depressed about all this.
Do we need
to come up with a plan to eliminate all the bats?
No, because we need them. They're so crucial to everything.
I don't know. Hear me out. What if we paint our faces in some sort of clownish makeup and go around and convince the mayor of this town to eliminate the bats? What if we say,
we all got together.
Bats! It's time for you to die, bats!
We got them all together.
Yeah.
To destroy the bat.
Yeah.
I I'm kind of busy until October. Do you want to do it like over a long Halloween?
That sounds convenient. Yeah, that sounds convenient to me.
So here's the thing. Bats can be persistently infected with MERS or other coronaviruses for months, where the bat and the virus kind of just work together. They kind of just work together as a family. And then what happens is they kind of like live in a balance where the virus doesn't multiply and the bat doesn't get rid of the virus, but the virus can just live. It can just live its life.
It hangs
inside
out
of
and
the
gets
bat.
transferred to a whole bunch of other shit, right?
But here's the problem: is when a bat is under stress or a bat hibernates, the virus can then multiply, and then the bat can be infected temporarily. And there's enough of a virus payload where the bat can then be spreading this virus in a huge way. So what we need to do is not destroy the bats, Jeff. We need to keep the bats chill. The bats need to be calm at all times. We need to be playing some lo-fi hip-hop 24/7, beats to chill /study to for all these bats.
We need to chill them out. We need to, like, if there was some sort of Mr. Chill. This is like a Mr. Chill that could...
Like somebody that could chill out these bats.
Yeah. They'd be like, chill out. Right before we put the bats on ice. It's a riddle. It's a riddle.
It's a riddle. It's an enigma, really. So here's what's up. And then finally, there are a couple more smaller reasons here. Number one, bats can fly.
Yeah,
right?
So that larger surface area they can get around and spread shit everywhere.
They're going everywhere, dude. Bats are unusually long-lived. Bats live. Some bat species live longer than 25 years.
Wow.
Bats are doing it. Bats are living up to. Bats can have a quarter-life crisis.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Bats can like really wonder what their place is in this world. Bats can like become really attached to the film Garden State for a little while.
Yeah. Probably do. That's why all those diseases start in New Jersey.
New Jersey, like China of the United States?
Yeah, that's what they call it.
Grandpa Joe.
That's what Uncle Joe tells it.
You can't talk that way. And then they have an intense social structure and hibernation behaviors. They roost. So they are hibernating together for long periods of time in a single cave, passing viruses amongst the colony. The Mexican free-tailed bat packs 300 bats per square foot into caves like the Carlsberg Caverns. So when you look at Carlsbad Caverns...
It's more bat than cavern.
It's more bat than cavern. It's a bat cave.
It's some sort of bat cave.
It's some sort of bat cave. They also exist in micropopulations that have migratory patterns, so they're interweaving, they're combining and separating. They're constantly changing it up. They're experimenting, like all people that are about to go through a quarter-life crisis. They're experimenting. You know what I mean? Yeah. Trying different partners, trying different polycules.
Why not?
Maybe we don't need to put like labels on the way bats are living. You know what I mean?
Let the bat figure it out for themselves. There's all of this. I'm hearing all of this, and I'm starting to feel like the bats are the enemy, man. I really don't think what positive do the bats bring to the table here?
Well, once again, bats are pollinating thousands of species of plants.
Okay.
Bats are keeping insect populations under control. Bats are doing a lot, man. Bat guano is fertilizing a lot of fungal populations that we need for ecosystems.
I guess so. But this seems like the perfect storm of bad, of viral. I mean, obviously we're seeing the global repercussions of this.
Well, I think there's certainly something to be said for bats as the conduit for these things. I mean, viruses can come from a bunch of different places, but bats as conduits seems to be particularly powerful. But viruses can come from different things, and the trick is the cause of these novel viruses and things like that are are bigger than bats. When you talk to virologists, they talk about things about climate change and overpopulation and things like that are causing these viruses to be able to spread, to mutate, to be created, to replicate, because things are changing ecologically so quickly. And I think as we see overpopulation and climate change happen more and more, I think we're going to see more and more of these giant outbreaks. When you think about how quickly we went from SARS, to COVID, it's huge. It's huge.
It reminds me. I'm going to speak without checking my history here, but didn't the Black Plague supposedly spread through rats?
Supposedly it was rats.
The same kind of situation where they didn't have the added benefit of being able to fly, but there were so many of them. They were so ubiquitous, and they were on top of each other all the time and on top of people in and around cities and high population areas.
So it was caused by the rat flea. So it was the fleas that were on the rats. But this is sort of, when you look at it, it's sort of a similar thing, right? Where it's like the fleas are getting around on the rats.
Right.
And that's how these things spread.
It's this thing of, what did you say? 40% of all mammals are rodents or some insane number? It's nuts.
So you think about, like you're saying, cities that were overpopulated, that were not planned well, where resources were becoming scarce, but also sanitary measures were not being taken because we didn't know everything that we know now about how to sanitize.
Yeah.
And so it was like a perfect breeding ground. And now we have these other situations that are creating breeding grounds on a global scale. When you think about just the proliferation of international travel, not just for a limited group of people, but how many people now do international travel for business? Or how much easier is it now than it was 30, 40 years ago to travel internationally just on a vacation?
Yeah. Yeah. And you see, all of the stuff that we were all watching in the first few months or the first few days and weeks of COVID, when you could see the heat map of people's phones and how quickly people travel from a place and move throughout the country and the world. Mm-hmm. We are uniquely primed for something like this to spread exponentially in a way humans have never been in our history.
I think the big takeaway of not the bat thing, but of what we're talking about right now for me is, one of the things that we've seen in Asian countries is because of SARS, because of bird flu. We saw that they have a lot of systems in place that they did not have, and they built those systems very quickly. We, for whatever reason politically, we did not have that in place, right?
Yeah, who possibly know?
Who knows what it was?
What reason it was?
Maybe we used to have it in place, and then all of a sudden we didn't. I don't know, but one silver lining, I think, from this coming here. In such a big way this time is now people on this side of the globe are very aware of how real this is. It's not abstracted for us the same way bird flu was, where it's like, oh, but that's happening over there. Now we've seen it happen over here, and hopefully this will be something in recent memory, because I think the last time was the flu in 1918 was the last breakout like this.
Spanish flu, yeah.
The Spanish flu. So now, at least we have a few generations now that have a memory of, oh yeah, this stuff could happen over here.
Yeah.
I'll
tell you what my hope is, Anthony. What my hope is that somehow our immune systems will have this group immunity, and we will evolve, we will progress, we will become some sort of super version of humans. Because the only way we can fight bats, I think, is with super, I'll just say men, women, who knows? You know what I'm saying?
Jeff,
some sort of conflict between the two.
Listen, no matter who wins that conflict, Jeff, we lose. Do you know what I mean? No matter who wins, we lose.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's why bats, if you were wondering the same way I've been for the last few months, why this is bats.
That's fascinating. Fascinating.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Pretty crazy. Hey, before we jump into the next story here, I just want to say thank you once again to all of our patrons who are supporting us as we make this show. You may notice that there are no advertising. There's no advertising on this show. There's no structure,
or
meaning,
useful bits of information,
content. Is this a content-free show? Maybe. Could we make it a show with content if we just got more money from you? I don't know. Let's find out.
Only one way to find out.
Listen, this is the scientific method. We're a science podcast.
Yes, we are.
My hypothesis is if you give us more money, the show can only get better. Let's test it.
It can't get any worse.
But no, during this time, especially during this time when we are all sheltering at home, and it looks like we will be doing so for a few more months, at least in a limited capacity. This has been your supporting the show has been incredibly helpful to both me and Jeff, as this is, kind of what we're doing for a living to kind of keep the lights on right now.
We're grateful, very grateful for it. It's been wonderful reconnecting with this audience. We just had our second hangout. We're doing 2 a month now. We used to do monthly hangouts. Now we're doing bi-monthly hangouts. It's been so fun seeing faces of people supporting us over there on patreon.com/we have concerns.
That's right. You can come and join those hangouts with us. We all chat on camera. It is fun. We're doing those every other week at least for the duration of this current crisis. We also have tiers at which you can get your episodes early. Those little conversations that we are coming out of in the beginning of the show, those are almost an entire secondary show, and those are available to our patrons. We also have a patrons only Discord where everybody can chat, hang out, talk about stuff. It's been very, very, very active over there.
So many cool people hanging out, talking about cool stuff. Really neat. Not just about the show, not just about episodes of the show, all kinds of topics over in the Discord. Really cool community.
Yeah, so if you want to join any of that, a great way to do that and to help us out is to head to patreon.com/we have concerns. And thank you if you already have.
Hey, Anthony, it's hard. We're gonna keep talking about what everybody's going through right now. It's hard being sheltered in place. It's necessary. We know it, but as we've gotten into the second month plus of doing this, it's got to be hard. I'm sure it's hard for you. It's certainly hard for me. It's hard for everybody being in one spot and not being able to leave, not being able to really get out. And we're social creatures. We want to go out into the world. It's been hard, right? Hard for you.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's definitely, and I'm somebody, I don't know if it comes across, but I'm somebody who likes to be left alone and likes to be likes to be in his own home by himself.
Shocking to hear, but yeah, I can understand that.
But even this for somebody like me, and we've talked about it, you and I, just by nature of what we do for a living, we don't always know when we're going into work and when we're doing stuff, and we are uniquely trained to spend a couple weeks just of downtime by ourselves. Yeah. But even people like us, it's weird after a couple months. It's a lot.
Well, let me tell you about our friend over here, Brent Underwood. This was a story sent to us at wehaveconcerns@gmail.com, sent in by Ben Sawyer. Thank you, Ben, for sending that.
Hey, Ben Sawyer. Yeah. What's up, dude?
Yeah, Ben always sending great stories. Back in the day.
Back in the day.
But he sent us a story about Brent Underwood, who is a 32-year-old marketer who, as I said, we're all having it hard. It's all relative. But this might be a little harder than most. Brent, I guess he's doing pretty well for himself as a marketer. Not too long ago, back in 2018, he ponied up a cool $1.4 million and bought himself a town.
Well.
Yeah.
I remember this. I remember this town going on sale. I remember this is a ghost town that went on sale. I think it was here in California, wasn't it?
It is. It's a town called Cerro Gordo.
Oh, God.
It is
I remember
a former silver mining town. Yes.
Jeff, I wanted to buy this haunted mining ghost town. I remember it was for sale for $1.4 million. I was living in San Francisco at the time. And I remember thinking to myself, you can't even get a fucking 3-bedroom home in San Francisco or the Bay Area for $1.4 million.
This town is cheaper than a 1,200 square foot.
We could. Can I get 20 friends together and can we buy a weird haunted mining town? I remember thinking this.
Yeah.
I wanted to do this so badly.
Well, Brent did it. Brent Underwood. He did it.
Fuck yeah, Brent Underwood.
He bought it in 2018, 1.4 mil. There was a full-time live-in caretaker for 21 years, a fellow named Robert Desmarais.
Yeah.
And
Brent threw his ass out, huh?
Well, no. When the pandemic
Brent was like, fuck you.
when the pandemic started,
You're living in my town now. It was like Unforgiven.
yeah.
He was like Gene Hackman in Unforgiven. No, not Unforgiven. I'm thinking of
no, Gene Hackman's in Unforgiven. You're right.
who's in Quick and the Dead? That's also Gene Hackman.
Is that Gene Hackman too? I don't know. There's too many.
I'm thinking of the Quick and the Dead.
I miss Hackman, man. That dude,
Dude,
he's still
Hackman's
alive, right?
Hackman's like 85. Let Hackman be retired.
I know, but he's so good. He was never
He's
not
so
good.
good. He's so good.
Anyway, so Robert, his 21-year-long live-in caretaker, somehow has a wife in Arizona? I don't understand this. The article does not go into this. How do you live for a place? How do you live at a place for 21 years and have a wife 2 states over?
Listen, man,
I don't get that.
people find what works for them. And if they're into that, if they like that, I'm for it.
I guess.
I'm for a non-traditional marriage. Let's do it.
I have to say, if my wife was in Arizona for a while, it might be good for her. Absence makes the heart go fonder is what I'm trying to say.
That's what I'm saying. And who knows how often they see each other? Like, how much caretaking does a ghost town need? Like, maybe he's there.
Question.
Maybe he's there like 2 weeks out of the month, or maybe he's there like not on weekends. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway,
who pays his salary?
I think Brent did when he took it over. I don't know who was doing it before Brent, but yeah, somebody was paying this dude for 21 years.
Wow.
Anyway, so Robert starts seeing that pandemic is happening. He gets worried. He wants to go visit his wife in Arizona, check in. He heads over right before shelter-in-place laws go in full effect. Meanwhile, Brent says, "Well, if I don't have my live-in caretaker guy, somebody's got to take care of this silver mining town." So he heads over to
wait.
take
Brent's
up the,
not even there. Brent just bought this silver mining town and doesn't even go hang out in it.
Well, I think that he hasn't. I don't know. He may have plans for this thing that haven't gone into place yet. But now he goes over, takes over for Robert.
Okay.
Right as shelter in place goes into effect.
This is like the plot of Schitt's Creek.
It is kind of like the plot of Schitt's Creek.
This is kind of the plot of Schitt's Creek. Like, he's forced to live in this town now.
Forced to live in the town all by himself. I guess there was snow that landed, like many feet of snow.
Do we need to explain snow? What do you mean somehow?
It just seems like a weird time of year for there to be this. In California, there were 5 feet of snow. I guess so. I guess it's
how high up
altitude.
Yeah, you got to think high altitude. You're going down into the mountain to mine.
You're right. It is a mountain town. So anyway, got 5 feet of snow. He's stuck, sheltered in place, 5 feet of snow. He drove up there with a t-shirt and shorts, thinking, I'm only going to be here for the weekend. I'm just going to check in, make sure Robert didn't forget anything.
This is why you have a caretaker.
Exactly.
This is some real Eugene Levy shit.
This is Eugene Levy, or I don't know, maybe The fucking Shining. Maybe we're in The Shining now.
Well, in The Shining, they definitely came with a couple suitcases. You know what I mean?
That's true.
He didn't just
but they were taking over for
the
caretaker.
An Olivetti typewriter.
Yeah, the essentials.
Alcoholism, bloodlust.
Yeah. Topiary.
You bring all the essentials to take care of a winter place.
Anyway,
wait, so he's trapped in a t-shirt and shorts.
He's got a t-shirt and shorts, no food.
He didn't bring food?
He didn't bring food.
Did he think there was food there? He was going for a weekend.
Well, evidently the closest grocery store is 26 miles away.
Ooh, he didn't stop on the way?
He said, in the absolute worst case scenario, there's snowshoes here, and the road is 7 miles long down a steep hill. But that only gets him to a 35-person town without grocery stores. But it's something. But he decides at a certain point, I got to do the snowshoe idea. He gets a few yards and he can't breathe.
No, of course not.
So he goes back. He starts melting snow to drink water. He's got no bread. He's stuck here. Now, you mentioned peripherally that when you were thinking about pitching in and buying this thing, that it was listed as a ghost town.
Right. I have questions about. Certainly, I have questions about the ghosts, but I also have questions about utilities in a ghost town.
Yeah,
I have questions about plumbing, electric, gas. How does any of it work?
Has much of that. It says he's been melting snow for water, and while he's out of bread and vegetables, he has enough rice and canned tuna to get him through until the snow thaws.
Why hasn't somebody come to? Why don't we go get him?
He clearly has cell phone coverage because he's doing interviews with the New York Post. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, my dude's got Wi-Fi. Go get him.
I don't understand why no one cares enough to go to this one. Maybe it has something to do with the ghosts.
Yeah, tell me about the ghosts,
Okay.
Jeff.
So now we have arrived at the ghost part.
Best part of a ghost town. A lot of people think it's the town part.
No, it's the
But
ghost
you get the
part.
town part. It's the ghost part. You can get a town anywhere.
Yeah. You think that it kind of spoils it by having ghost as the first part of the word? But no, that's the most important part is the ghost part.
Listen, just because you know there are ghosts going in, trust me, it's not going to spoil it for you. You are going to have an amazing time.
Let me tell you a little bit about Cerro Gordo, the former silver mining town. 22 buildings in Cerro Gordo. Not too bad for 1.4 million. 22 buildings?
It's great.
I don't know the math on that, but that's got to be per building. That's got to be pretty. It's got to be a steal right there.
Yeah.
Here's the tough part, though.
Okay. Ready for the tough part.
During the town's heyday, when it was a full-on silver mining town in the 1800s, they averaged about one murder per week.
At 22 buildings.
Yeah.
So, family of 4 in every building, which is not going to be the case because a couple of these buildings are commercial, a couple of these buildings are municipal.
Sure.
But assuming a family of 4 in every building, we're talking about 88 people. And there's a murder a week.
Yeah.
You're not going to get more than 2 years before everyone's murdered.
This is why the town goes up on the market. That's how this town goes and is able to be purchased by one dude. You know what I'm saying?
That's just math. That's like a year and a half before you've run out of murder.
Yeah. That's a lot of murder. And at a certain point, when you get down to the dwindly part, you just got to become a murderer because chances are the murderer got murdered. You know what I'm saying?
Or leave.
Well,
but nobody did. And now there are 88 ghosts.
Evidently,
One
there was
murder a week.
There were 2 children who died after being trapped in a closet.
Of course. How'd they get trapped in a closet?
That's closet? I don't know.
R. Kelly?
Ask R. Kelly. I don't know. So, as a man of science,
yeah,
Anthony, on a science podcast, an award-winning, internationally recognized
science podcast,
award-winning science podcast, as a science,
we might be science's last hope. In all honesty,
there's no disputing that.
There's no disputing it scientifically.
Where do you fall on the whole ghosts is real bit?
No ghosts.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you. No ghosts. Do you hang out by yourself in the 22 building sized murder a week town?
Yes,
without any
100%.
Conscience?
Yes, I would love to stay there. I remember when that came up, I was like, I wonder, even if I can't buy it, I wonder if they would just let me go up there. I thought somebody was going to turn it into like a themed Airbnb at least, right?
Yeah.
Like a themed Airbnb town, like an Old West themed or like a mining town themed Airbnb. I have a feeling that's what our old T-shirt and shorts is trying to do.
He's a marketer. That's what he's listed as his profession. I can't imagine he's not thinking marketing. You know what I'm saying?
I bet a couple of those buildings got some good Pendleton blankets and some terrariums. I bet it's real Pinterest hours up there. Here's the thing. No ghosts. I would go stay there. And I would even market it as a ghost town. I'd be like, come on up and see this haunted shit.
Yeah. I'm sure that would get a lot of people to go. You know, you pay for the room, you get 2 baby ghosts in a closet free. No charge for the child
deal.
ghosts. Here is what our friend Brent.
Well, child ghosts are free before 4 p.m.
Oh yeah, after 4.
After 4, you got to pay, but it's like half price for child ghosts.
Yeah, but also if you open the ghost closet, they charge you no matter what. You don't even have to take any of the ghost
they
peanuts.
just charge at you. If you open the ghost closet, these nightmare children ghosts just run at you.
They've been waiting for someone to open it.
100 years they've been waiting for somebody to open that closet, and they charge you, motherfucker.
I hate those extra charges you get in Airbnbs. Let me tell you a little bit about what Brent's been going through as he's been confined solo in the snowstorm in Cerro Gordo. He says, in addition to general ambiance of otherworldliness, a light in the bunkhouse keeps turning on.
Ugh, this guy, marketer till the end.
Marketer. His wallet recently disappeared for 2 days.
Okay,
only
buddy.
to reappear in a different building he hadn't been in, the town hotel. He says,
there's 5 feet of snow outside. How is he traveling between buildings? He can't get down.
Snowshoes, bro. He's got snowshoes. It's a little different traveling between buildings than it is hiking down the mountain. You know, I think he probably shooing his way around 22 buildings. He's just shooing.
That's true. He's just
shooing around.
He's just straight shooing.
He says that was a bit freaky. He says, oh wait, where was the best one? Hang on. Oh, come on. Hang on. Oh.
That's not too bad. First edit marker of the recording session comes at 55 minutes. That's pretty good. We're almost done. That's not too bad.
Oh.
Hey, 6 years in, we're getting pretty good at this.
We're all right. He says, I stay in the room with the child ghosts.
Of course.
22 buildings.
Wait, where are the adult ghosts to supervise this?
I know. That's irresponsible.
You don't stay in a room with other people's child ghosts if they're not there.
Yeah,
that's a little weird.
Come on, buddy. Come on.
You're a marketer. Think about how this looks.
He says, I see curtains move and I hear things in the night. There is no draft, but things drop inside of the houses.
Okay, dude. Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, curtains move. Ooh, old houses make noises. Ooh, sometimes things fall. Yeah, dude.
That's called gravity, buddy.
Welcome to physics. Welcome to physics and old houses, you idiot. He's going crazy up there. How many days has he been up there? When did he get? When did he start? When did he start getting stuck up there?
I think he's into weeks. He's into weeks of being up there. They say he's passing the time fixing up and finding artifacts on the property, going on hikes.
Like ancient Native American artifacts, like things that have clearly been misplaced and shouldn't be there?
Yeah. You know, in the old burial ground back behind Building 12.
Very cool, very cool.
You know, there's only Building 12 and Building 14? Isn't that weird? Isn't that weird?
No, that is weird because I could have sworn I saw Building 13.
There's just that weird burial ground there instead.
Yeah, it's real interesting. I don't know. It's a pet cemetery. It's probably fine.
It's probably fine. Oh,
you just bury your pets there.
I forgot to tell you the other thing he's been doing to pass the time.
So he's into weeks. He's into weeks of this.
Yeah.
When did he drive up?
It doesn't have any dates on here, but he says it was right before the shelter in place.
So that's March.
Came down. Yeah. I guess it must have been, right? Beginning of March?
Dude's like there mid-March. It was right around St. Patrick's Day, so like March 17th.
Yeah. He's got 5 employees in Austin, Texas that he's been managing via satellite internet. So, you know, he's not exactly roughing it.
So he does have electricity. He is getting utilities somehow.
Yeah, I'm sure the ghosts are powering everything just fine.
It runs on his fear.
That's what it is. Yeah. Oh, the other thing he's doing that I have to tell you that he has said is that he has befriended a couple of crows that he has named.
That's who took his wallet.
Oh, it's totally who took his wallet.
That's who took his wallet.
Bird prank.
That's a classic bird prank. Crows especially, dude. You think crows ain't fucking with you?
He says
crows
he's
is like,
them.
go outside in your t-shirt, dude. Yeah, put your snowshoes on, dude.
He says he's named the crows Heckle and Jekyll.
Okay, those are mildly racist Looney Tunes characters. They were racist enough where they did not put them in Space Jam. So
that's right.
Let's put a pin in that.
We always let Space Jam be our guide, we always say. That's our motto here: is let Space Jam be your guide.
Here on this award-winning science podcast, which is not a joke. We say it like it's a joke. No, it's not.
We won an award.
We've won multiple.
We've won multiple
awards.
It is true. It still sounds like we're joking, but we aren't.
It still sounds like we're joking, but we're not.
We have them.
And we would never joke about Space Jam.
No, we would never. That's not a joking matter.
No. So he's got 2 crows fucking with him.
2 crows that steal his wallet daily.
He's got satellite internet.
And
he's seeing ghost shit.
Yeah. So
how soon do we think that we're going to be able to get him, or he's going to be able to leave? He's got to wait until thaw.
We got to until fall, I guess. When does you're saying fall, but funny? We got to wait until Cerro Gordo gets into phase 2 or 3. You know what I'm saying? Cerro Gordo's got to get out of that shelter in place, I guess.
That's wild. That's so wild. He spent all of shelter in place in a ghost town.
Yeah,
that's kind of cool.
It is. So
and he's definitely milking it.
Well, yeah, taking interviews on the satellite. You know, he's got that satellite internet. He's probably reaching out, going, "Hey, here's a juicy story for you. Here's a story that those award-winning science podcasters will pick up on right quick." As a hard science story, this is definitely fodder for us particularly. When you brought this up, I told you that I had seen like BuzzFeed Uncovered or whatever their supernatural like unsolved BuzzFeed Unsolved, that's what it is. Yeah. Had done a video about this guy, I think yesterday. So he's making the media rounds, and I think he's definitely milking this. He's clearly comfortable. He clearly has utilities. I don't understand how utilities work when you own your own town. I imagine he has to pay. He has some sort of deal. It can't be an incorporated town at this point. I have no idea. I mean, the rice and tuna fish diet doesn't sound too pleasant, but I don't know.
Oh God, yeah. How do you think his regularity is? Rice and tuna fish?
But I tell you what, Heckle and Jekyll, not letting them alone about that. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely not.
Is it time yet? Is it time yet, Brett?
They throw his wallet into another building and then eat so much of that rice. How would you feel if you were in? I think in this situation that he's in, I would definitely feel more. I would feel more trapped by the circumstances than I would feel frightened. I would certainly not feel frightened of the supernatural.
I'd like to say I wouldn't. I really am a skeptic, and I don't believe in any of that shit. But man, I think being locked away in an old mining town by yourself in the snow, I bet my imagination could start going to weird places, you know?
Well, this is real. I mean, this is real isolation in a way that like, so we're doing, you know, this shelter in place. We're doing all that stuff. But, you know, I occasionally see humans. I go to the grocery store.
Yeah.
You know, I run errands. I do things that I have to do. And I do see other people there. Additionally, you know, I'm in LA. I'm not trapped in my apartment. I can go outside if I need to. And it's not like I'm trapped in like it's almost like 100 degrees. So it's not the most pleasant, but it's not like walking out into a freezing snowfall where if I stay out there for more than a couple minutes, it's going to be hypothermia.
Yeah.
You know, so, and I do have, like, because I can go grocery shopping, I have the creature comforts, you know, we talked about this a little bit, the creature comforts of, like, food and junk food and things that just kind of make you feel a little better.
Yeah.
Whereas he doesn't have those things.
That to me, that would be the worst part, is not having any cookie dough. You know what I'm saying? That's really what's getting me through.
I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying. But this is like, you know, I've sort of talked about the metaphor of like, we are all now in one of those like isolation experiments that they put astronauts into.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But we're not really. We're in like the light version of that. He's in like a much more realistic version of that.
Yeah.
And Good Lord. How much is that satellite internet costing him right now?
Oh, it's got the fees on that thing. It's got to be rough.
Satellite internet? Well, wait, maybe it's just like DSL. Maybe it's just like regular DSL. So it's slow, but it's not expensive.
They're running lines out there? I don't know if they're running lines.
I don't know, man. He's got electricity. I would love to know more. Here's the thing. Outside of this story, the thing that fascinates me the most is the rehabilitation of this quote-unquote ghost town.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. A defunct mining town from the 19th century. Like, what's the logistics of getting that baby up and running again?
That's the thing that's the most interesting to me is like, it can't, like I was talking about before, it can't be an incorporated township. There is no mayor there. There is no government there. It was a town. Now it's more like a compound. So is he part of another town? Like that kind of stuff is fascinating to me. And the other thing that's fascinating to me is the fact that like, we're just not going to go get this guy.
Kind of feels like we could. It seems like it would be a very, very manageable problem. But I don't know. I don't know. Here's what he says. Here's the end of the article. He says he plans to return to Austin when the quarantine is over. But in the meantime, he feels as though he's done the proper job of secluding himself from humanity and the virus currently wreaking havoc on it. To which I ask you this question, Anthony.
It's not like he did it on purpose. He's not some fucking hero.
He's like, I thought through. I really figured it out. I cracked the case on this one. No,
I'm going to head up to this town. I'm going to let the snow fall around me. I'm only going to talk to crows. This is the most responsible. Everybody should be following the same steps that I'm taking. Move to a ghost town and only talk to crows. That's the only way we're going to beat this thing. We've got to flatten this curve.
He's got a pamphlet like that washing the hands thing that you see with the step-by-step, and it's like, ghost town. Crow conversation, snowshoes,
talking to your crows.
No, here's my question to you, Anthony. You know, he thinks he's escaped the virus up there. How many bats do you think live per square foot in Cerro Gordo? You know what I'm saying?
Here's
what percentage of all mass in Cerro Gordo is bat?
Now this is interesting. Now we're talking, because is caves.
Oh yeah.
Is caves, but is cold.
Oh, bats don't like cold.
So they're either, if they're there, they might be hibernating, or they're not there normally at all.
At the moment of thaw, it's just going to be unleash the bats. As soon as old Brent opens the door and is like, all right, time to walk back to Austin.
He walks outside, Heckle and Jekyll pull the fucking lever that opens the mine. They solve the Myst style puzzle that opens the mine shaft. Thousands of bats get this guy. He's patient zero. He's got to stay up there for another 6 weeks. Brent. Man. I am glad that somebody bought that town though and is up there doing it, rehabilitating that town. I do want to keep. I mean, the best thing that this guy did as a marketer is he brought that town back into the forefront of my mind, so I can keep checking on it. Because like when it's all done, I want to stay there, dude. I want to stay in Ghost Mining Town.
We got to go give Brent some of our money when we can go and stay in in building 12/12 plus. You know what I'm
12 plus is what they call it. 12 plus. It's a real outdoors experience, real earthy, real natural. Definitely not angering any spirits about any stolen land. Definitely not. How do y'all feel about this? And you're all listeners to an award-winning science podcast, but I'm always interested
to you. Congratulations to you for selecting this award-winning podcast to spend your time listening to.
You did it. But also, I wonder how many of you are science-minded, are skeptics, but do believe in some sort of supernatural occurrences or supernatural forces. Yeah. I would love to hear about this because I'm not the type that's going to be like at anybody who does, but I am just kind of like, probably not.
Yeah. Honestly, my wife does, and it's been a source of a bit of contention sometimes where I remain skeptical, and she's like, but I really how do you explain this and this? And I go,
my
sure
ex used to think that there were ghosts in our duplex, and I was like, there are no ghosts in this duplex.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not going to tell you blanket there are no ghosts because I don't want to do that because you believe so hard.
Right.
But what I will tell you, there are no ghosts in this duplex.
Yeah.
But let us know what you think. You can talk to us on Twitter. I'm at A Carboni.
I'm at Jeff Canada.
And you can hashtag those.
Heckle and Jekyll.
No, you may not, but you can hashtag it man who is also a bat.
Oh, man who is also a bat. That rolls off the tongue.
It rolls off the tongue. It's a good short one. You can tell we really want long comments. But if you want to discuss it with other concerned citizens, there are multiple places to do so. You can do it on our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/wehaveconcerns. You can do it at wehaveconcerns.reddit.com. And of course, if you are a patron, and thank you, we are so grateful to you. If you are, you can discuss it over on the Discord. And if you'd like to become a patron and join the Discord for as little as $1 a month, you can do that at patreon.com/wehaveconcerns.